When Queen Elizabeth II passed away on September 8, 2022, the world paused to reflect on the life of a monarch who had reigned for over 7 decades. Her death marked the end of an era, and the subsequent funeral arrangements were nothing short of monumental.
Exemplary.
But as the nation mourned, a pressing question loomed in the background. How much did it actually cost the British government to give the Queen her final farewell? The state funeral, a blend of solemnity and spectacle, was a reflection of both tradition and modernity. From the moment her passing was announced, meticulous planning kicked into high gear. The logistics involved in transporting her body from Scotland to London, the grand procession through the capital, and the service at Westminster Abbey required extensive resources. Estimates suggest that the total cost to the British taxpayer was eye-watering, potentially reaching tens of millions of pounds. But what does this figure encompass? The costs were not limited to the funeral service itself. Security, which was a paramount concern given the global interest, accounted for a significant chunk of the budget. Thousands of police officers were deployed, and the logistics of crowd control were complex and expensive. Moreover, the maintenance of public order during such a high-profile event necessitated additional funding. Beyond security, the costs of commemorative events and public displays of mourning also added to the overall expenditure. The Queen's lying in state at Westminster Hall drew enormous crowds, with millions of people waiting in line for hours to pay their respects. This not only required extensive staffing and resources but also raised questions about the economic impact on local businesses during the period of national mourning. As the dust settled, discussions about the appropriateness of such expenditures began to emerge. Critics questioned whether it was justifiable for public funds to cover the lavishness of a royal funeral, especially in light of pressing social issues facing the nation. Supporters, on the other hand, argued that the Queen's contributions to the country warranted a fitting tribute, one that underscored the historical significance of her reign. The debate over the cost of the funeral reignited discussions about the monarchy's relevance in contemporary Britain. How should a modern nation balance the costs of tradition against the needs of its citizens? Many were left pondering whether such expenditures were reflective of a bygone era, or if they still held weight in today's society. As numbers continue to circulate regarding the total expenditure, the impact of Queen Elizabeth II's death and the subsequent funeral will be felt for years to come. The financial implications serve as a reminder of the intersection between tradition, public sentiment, and economic reality. In the wake of the Queen's passing, a greater narrative unfolds, a narrative that invites us to explore not just the costs involved, but also the deeper meanings behind the rituals of mourning and remembrance. How does a nation honor a figure who has shaped its identity for generations? And at what cost? The answers to these questions are complex and multifaceted, reflecting the intricate relationship between the monarchy and the public it serves. As we continue to reflect on the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, her funeral serves as a pivotal moment that challenges us to consider the value we place on tradition, the sacrifices made for royal ceremonies, and the evolving nature of our societal priorities. This is a story still being written, one that invites further exploration into the deep-seated ties between monarchy and the British people, an exploration that is sure to captivate the public interest for years to come.